Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we are going to do the much anticipated Oud Balsam review from the house of Feel Oud. Now, Russian Adam told me once upon a time that good artists need constructive criticism and that he appreciates when people speak out and say what they feel and they don't always just say everything is amazing. We're going to put that idea to the test today because today we are reviewing Oud Balsam by Feel Oud. Let me show you the packaging first and then we'll sort of get into the fragrance. So this is the box, and you can see right here that it's just basically a black box. It has the same sort of felt that was on the bottom of the History of Oud collection, and it's got the new Feel Oud logo, which is nice, I like, and the box basically sits in there. I will say this, the little insert card, it has these very sharp corners, as if somebody just sort of cut it with a, one of those big paper cutters or whatever, and not very good attention to detail here. It's not like it's going to really hurt you or anything, but if you grab it wrong out of the box or something, it will sort of poke you. So, but there's the little breakdown. I'll read you the little card. Notes of tobacco, sweet resins, and South Thailand oud oil, and it's an extrait de parfum. 30 mils is $300 on the Feel Oud website. A balsamic tobacco oud composition with a gourmand twist that puts the focus on a rare Thai oud oil from nearly 100-year-old trees. In this perfume, we highlight the true essence of wild agarwood. It is resinous and spicy, bold and smooth, challenging and addictive. The quintessential oud perfume, crafted by two oud master distillers. Okay, so, and this is the bottle. So the name is on one side right here. Everything else is blank. There's nothing on any of the other sides. There's nothing on the bottom. And the cap, which is magnetic, which is nice. But what is not nice is it does not fit the other way. So you can't close it this way. It only closes one way. It would be cool if it kind of closed all ways. But that's just me being nitpicky. And it's sort of got that Gucci Pour Homme 1-2 square. I like the square bottle look, but the bottle definitely looks bigger. In the pictures. It is 30 mils, 30 mil bottle. Okay, so that is the presentation. So let's talk about the scent. So first things first, as soon as I sprayed this for the very first time, I was disappointed instantly. The very first time I sprayed it, because I was hoping to have an animalic challenging oud opening. Whenever you buy a fragrance from a company, Feel Oud, and actually two oud distillers, and highlighting their coming together, Dmitry Bortnikoff and Tabac Dore, Russian Adam, to create an oud fragrance, you expect an oud. And unfortunately, it's not what you get. Even from the very first spray, the little bit of oud that you do get reminds you of the oud that you smell in something like Tabac Dore. And in fact, I'm going to spray Tabac Dore because I was going to point you guys, I was going to say, go check out my review on Tabac Dore, because I thought I reviewed this, and I didn't. I have not reviewed Tabac Dore, which is a huge mistake of mine, because this deserves to be reviewed ASAP. Instantly, as soon as I sprayed Oud Balsam, I was like, wow, that is Tabac Dore. In fact, I like Tabac Dore much better because whenever it starts out, you get a little bit more of this, almost like you're smelling a inside. If you've ever been to the inside of a really fancy cigar place where they have the whole shop is like a cigar humidor, right? And it's like to keep the cigars fresh, and it has that smell of dry cigar leaf, right? That's what you get from Tabac Dore, and you get the depth of the tobacco, right? With Oud Balsam, I was disappointed that, number one, there was no animalic opening, because the people who are buying these type of products, in my opinion, this is being presented as two master oud distillers and coming together for the very first time to create something amazing. Where's the oud? Where is the oud? You almost don't get it. And what you do get is just a tiny little bit of this sweet Thai oud is what it feels like. It feels like a sweet Thai oud, which is what they say it is. But the challenging and addictive part, it's not challenging at all. In fact, it's a very easy wear. I would venture to say someone who's only smelled designers would have a relatively easy time wearing this, because Oud Balsam has this relative sweetness. Now, just FYI, I have a 9-hour dry down right here. And I have a fresh spray from about, maybe an hour and 45 minutes ago. And so, I've got to experience the opening a couple times, but do keep in mind, this is the very first time I've worn it. And, I much prefer Tabac Dore. I'll tell you that instantly. Tabac Dore is much more my style because it really focuses, first of all, it says it's a tobacco fragrance, whereas Oud Balsam, to me, implies that oud is the main note. In fact, the quintessential oud perfume is what it says it's not. It's a tobacco fragrance, first and foremost. That's just what it is. And you can pick up, like I said, a whisper of that oud note in the opening, but it's really muted, extremely muted. You're going to focus most of your sniffing of Oud Balsam will be on this sweetened tobacco, okay? Now, I don't mind sweet tobacco scents. I have some. Like, for example, this is a sweet tobacco scent that anyone can wear and probably enjoy it. And it's discontinued, and I love wearing it. And it's A Men, right? Or even something like this. This is Chergui, an amazing sweet tobacco and hay and honey and all this stuff. But you sort of know going in exactly what this is, and iris and all these amazing notes. And with Oud Balsam, I was just expecting something completely different is really what it comes down to. I also don't like the way that maybe there's some patchouli in here or something that adds this sort of chocolatey sweetness. Maybe it comes from the oud itself. But this, it's almost like this, chocolatey sweet tobacco fragrance. And it feels like it is sweetened with patchouli, sweetened with the oud, and maybe, I don't know, sweetened with the benzoin they used, or, styrax, or I don't know what they used, but whatever it is, it feels like this very sweetened base, right? Like this candied sweetness. And within the first hour of the fragrance, you just start to get this big tonka note is what it feels like. It feels like this eruption of this tonka note. And not the good kind of tonka either. Not the kind of tonka that actually Russian Adam had sent me some tonka that I really enjoyed. This feels pretty darn sweet. It feels like the tonka that sort of sweetens the tobacco up, which is acceptable. Tonka and tobacco go together. That's sort of what you accept. But see, smelling Tabac Dore, I really feel like this gives you so much more aspects of the tobacco, in my opinion. I feel like Tabac Dore, you sort of get little bits of the smokiness. You get green touches in Tabac Dore. You get that humidor feel. You get the dryness of a cigar leaf, like a, just imagine like you let a cigar sit out and let that cigar leaf dry and then smell it. Or, if you've ever sort of taken the top of a cigarette sort of, packaging. They used to have foil or something. Now they have paper. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, just imagine taking that out and sort of smelling it. And it's been right up against the tobacco and the cigarettes. Tabac Dore has just so much more depth. And so the problem is Tabac Dore has this depth to it. And it has this, there are layers to Tabac Dore. Whereas Oud Balsam, it's a heavy fragrance, but it feels like it just sits on your skin, just flat. It just sits there. And it really doesn't move. It just lays there lifeless. And I expected more is what it is. I just really expected more. And so now here's the other side of that coin though. Tobacco is one of my favorite notes. So invariably, I like the fragrance. I like Oud Balsam as a perfume because I don't own a bottle of Tabac Dore. And I like the dry, deep, exotic aspects of tobacco. And however, I will say comparing them side by side here, which I wasn't planning on doing in this video, but comparing them side by side, Tabac Dore really puts Oud Balsam to shame, in my opinion. I think Tabac Dore is the superior scent, hands down. And, the facets of tobacco that I like, that I'm already getting from Tabac Dore, that seem to be they just seem to be sort of missing from Oud Balsam. Like I'm not getting the hay dry facets. I'm not getting sort of the greener herbal aspects of the tobacco, right? And then the candied sweetness problem starts to arise, and that's really where I begin to have even more of an issue with the scent, is because I really don't like, I think it's the tonka. It may be like a mixture of benzoin and whatever they did in the base, but that sweetness is definitely there, especially comparing it side by side to something like Tabac Dore, which is much it really focuses more on the spicier, drier aspects of tobacco, and it doesn't have the sweetness that Oud Balsam has. And you would expect with a name like Oud Balsam to get a lot of balsams. And, maybe that's what they were going for with the benzoin, styrax feel, whatever it is. And there is a little bit of this slightly medicinal, sweet style, so imagine this slightly medicinal tobacco. But, this is, again, I hate to beat a dead horse here, but to me, in the way that I feel about this on day one, and I'm just being 100% honest with you guys, I have no horse in the race other than Russian Adam is a dear friend of mine. And when he says he appreciates reviews that are honest, I take him at his word. And, all reviews cannot be good. And, sometimes you have to say what has to be said. And for me, this is a fragrance made from two master oud perfumers. This is actually a line of fragrances that have been, I would say, hyped, people looking forward to it because they're oud lovers. They're people who love oud. These are oud distillers, Bortnikoff and Oud Dore and Russian Adam. And they basically came together and released a line of fragrances that I would say doesn't have a strong oud fragrance in it. And it makes no sense to me because think about it. Oud Balsam is a tobacco fragrance, period. This right here is not an oud fragrance. This is a tobacco fragrance, hands down. Maybe with a little bit of sweet Thai oud in there. That's what it smells like to me. And in fact, if it was sweet Thai oud and maybe some other type of animalic, maybe some Indian oud in there to make it more interesting, then that might be a completely different story. Oud de Grande I have not smelled, but from the friends that I have who have smelled it, they say it's a jasmine bomb, right? That's Oud de Grande. That's the name, Oud de Grande, but it's not. It's a jasmine bomb. Sunrise and Set, I have not smelled either, but apparently that's the cheapest one in the collection. That's the one I'm actually, I think, most interested in. Now that I sort of have an idea, that's the one that I think may end up being the winner, even though it's the cheapest, which is crazy. But if I had to trade someone this right now for Sunrise and Set, I think I would. I think I would trade this for Sunrise and Set. But it's just, I think it's the expectations. It's the expectations, and I would say at $300 for 30 mil with my collection, would I buy this again? Because I blind bought this just based on, the skill of Russian Adam and Dmitry Bortnikoff and their first collection and all of that stuff. Would I buy this again for $300? No, I would not. Unfortunately, I would not. I mean, this is Feel Oud. It's not Feel Tobacco. It's not Feel Jasmine. It's Feel Oud, right? So there is an expectation, I think, from the customer base of sort of what you're getting. And this, while Oud Balsam does say that it is a balsamic tobacco oud composition with a gourmandish twist, it also says it's the quintessential oud fragrance. And I think that I, at least speaking for myself, the only person I can speak for, I expect more from a release like this than just a tobacco fragrance that feels this way. And even if this was a tobacco concentrated fragrance, I would still expect more. Even if I knew that that's what this was going into it, I think I still would expect more than what's actually in this bottle, because I would expect more like Tabac Dore. Now, there's another issue, speaking of Tabac Dore, because this comes from my friend Fragnanimous. And this bottle comes from a wood cap bottle of Tabac Dore. So friends that I have who bought the new bottles with the metallic caps on top, they say that this doesn't last for hardly anything anymore, which is crazy because my sample, this thing is like a 15-hour fragrance, Tabac Dore. Literally, I don't know if you can see how dark it is. Look at the stain on my skin from when I just sprayed it just now. This thing will last 15 hours in the vintage bottles. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant tobacco. Probably the best tobacco knot in my collection. If I was going to spend $300, I would probably hunt down a vintage bottle of this rather than Oud Balsam. If that's what I knew I was getting, I would just go for Tabac Dore. But you would have to go find a vintage bottle because the new bottle is, unfortunately, from what I hear, extremely weak. And I don't know what is going on with the House of Bortnikoff, but I've had a lot of people tell me that about multiple fragrances of his, whether it's this or Musk Habib or, it's very hard to keep everything the same when when you're using natural ingredients like that to keep everything the same over the years. Must be a nightmare for Dmitry Bortnikoff. So, I just expect more. I want that sour, dusty, green, spicy, very fine tobacco. That's what I want in a tobacco fragrance. And I want it to be complex and real tobacco absolute, which Tabac Dore gives you in spades. Real tobacco absolute is extremely rich and deep and dense, and it feels like you're smelling a lot of different things at once, right? And I get that from Tabac Dore. Even though the scent profiles are similar, Tabac Dore is thick and Oud Balsam is flat. And that's the way it feels. It feels like it just sort of lays there, lifeless on your skin. It's an okay smell. It's just, it lacks the depth of real tobacco absolute. And again, thanks to Russian Adam, I have real tobacco absolute. I've smelled what the real absolute smells like. Just give me some tobacco absolute over this. It's disappointing. Do I get cumin in this? Almost none. I mean, if there is cumin, it's the tiniest bit. Do I get sweet resins? Yes, absolutely. Tobacco, sweet resins with the tiniest touch of South Thailand oud oil, which is a sweet oud. So it ends up being sweet at all. So I've bitched for 15, 17 minutes. Not everything is bad, though. I will tell you that. The projection and longevity on this are insane. I mean, it seems like this is a 9 to 10 hour fragrance. 9 to 11 hour fragrance. Oud Balsam, that is. I can smell the spray on my hand from this morning, from 8 o'clock this morning. And so, that's, it's not all necessarily bad. There is some good. But all in all, I would say I'm disappointed. I would say I was expecting so much more from this line, especially since this is their first collab and all that stuff. And I don't think I'll be blind buying any more fragrances anytime soon. Let's put it that way. No matter who it is, I think my blind buying days are basically over. I think this basically ended my blind buying days. No matter what the hype is, no matter what the rush is, I think I'm just gonna sample from now on. First, now of course I can always sell this and use that money and buy something else. But finding vintage bottles of Tabac Dore is getting to be a pain. And, it's just kind of one of those things. I think it's expectations versus what was delivered with this Feel Oud release. Sort of like the recent Bortnikoff releases. I've been very disheartened with some of the Bortnikoff releases, and maybe my expectations are just too high. I mean, they're not going to all be winners, but when you're paying $300 for 30 mils, I mean, I think have a right to, at least the Tabac Dore, at least this was $350 for 50 mils. So 300 for 30 mils is a tall order. This just feels like an incomplete fragrance. It just needed more. It needs some Indian Oud, something animalic and challenging to the senses. This is a crowd pleaser. This is a, I mean, you know, this is a wear this on New Year's Eve if you want compliments thing, you know, which is fine. Those fragrances have a place, but when people are buying, I think, Feel Oud fragrances instead of Sauvage or whatever they're buying for the just regular stuff, they're doing it because they're into perfume as an art form, and this just doesn't move me at all. None. I am not moved by Oud Balsam at all, and it's unfortunate. Because I really do adore Russian Adam as a friend, as a person. He's absolutely amazing. I love his work. I love Dmitry Bortnikoff's work, but I almost feel like I'm at a point now where I need to just cherish what was done in the past, and you know, the new. I would trade this for a bottle of Civet de Nuit. I would trade. You know, that's literally the way. That's how I feel. I mean, Civet de Nuit, I've seen bottles going for like 150. The resale value on those is not good. I would trade this for Civet de Nuit. Because I actually enjoy that more. I think Sultan Pasha and Arij and Russian Adam did some amazing things with Civet de Nuit that gets overlooked. And so, you know, this is just, it's not the kind of perfume I'm into. I'd much rather wear some of the History of Oud stuff that he did recently. Just the pure oud oil, just the, you know, give me Chinese oud, give me Indian oud, give me Bengali oud, whatever it is. That's much more interesting to me than this. This is a little bit boring, a little bit off-putting. Not off-putting, but I'm just disappointed, that's all. So, if you've had a chance to smell any of the Feel Oud releases, I would love to know your thoughts. Appreciate everyone's support, watching, commenting, all that good stuff. Do leave a comment below. I love seeing your faces. Cheers, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.